What's up, team? Hope you're having a great week. Please ignore all the mess in the background. Obviously, we're currently awaiting updates on the house we're trying to move into. But we've got a cool little treat today. Yesterday, we actually went to train with IFBB Pro Kelvin Hinde. Good friend of mine, always blessed to get a session in with someone who has truly mastered their craft. So that's going to be the videos that you're about to see. And I'll cover sort of any blanks in there, but it was great to catch up, learn some lessons from someone who has truly nailed it to the very highest level. Even now, always some cool things I can kind of take on board from him, from someone who's been literally competing nearly as long as I've been alive, over 20 years in the game. That kind of longevity means that you are doing something right. There's only so much you can get away with and continue to perform to that standard for such a long period of time. So we did some interesting things. One of the things I'll run you guys through is this cool different deadlift variation that we did, where you actually bend the spine a little bit with intent. Something that a lot of people don't know is that the only way they actually gain really good kind of functionality and mobility in some of those compromising ranges of motion is actually by building the strength there with intention and making sure that you can actually put the tension in the right places rather than the tissues that may be a little bit more compromised. So great session, got a good little back pump, talked a bit of business, potentially the uses of AI and if that can replace coaching at some point, but genuinely a top act, and hopefully some more training sessions to come soon, because this is going to be one of the worst videos you've ever seen. I'm going to just disclaim that outright, but I'm hoping you can get some cool little value from the in-between bits, because Kelvin was actually filming for his TikTok, so we were actually live on there. And on top of that, I forgot the SD card for my DJI, which means that I literally just had to like pop my phone up, terrible quality, terrible angles, but you'll see Kelv looking jacked and teaching some cool things. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure to leave a like. Let us know what we should train next and anything you want us to cover. And I hope you enjoy the video. If you are interested in working with me, someone who's worked with pros at the top level, trained them, then feel free to check the link below. It'll take you to my website where you can have a feel for exactly how we do things. And we can talk a little bit further, see if you'd be a good fit for the team. But enjoy the session. We'll catch you guys soon. What's up, guys? So we are at Meritor in Urmston with IFBB Pro Kelvin Hinde. Going to hit a little back session, teach you the tricks that the pros use. We'll get to it.
With an IFBB Pro,
yeah.
I've downloaded all my training programs, all my nutrition plans into this AI system. So once you fill in your questionnaire, answering certain questions, how many times a day you can eat, how many times a week you can train, you know, that sort of thing, then it'll come up with a plan for that. So it's going to be, like, if I wanted to write keto diets, some people write keto diets, and they're all keto diets. If I want to write a posterior anterior split that I've been talking up to, it'll write all posterior anterior splits for me.
Yeah, I get that. That's cool. That's cool. I dabbled with a similar idea. Funnily enough, I didn't know that something exactly like that existed. I tried training ChatGPT to do this. It failed miserably. Because I input kind of a similar thing. I was like, okay, if they can train this many days a week, then give them full body. But if it's 3 days, but they have to train 2 days back to back, then give them like, you know, an upper lower type of thing. Yeah. And then I tried giving it a case study. I was like, my client can train this day, this day, this day, write him a plan. And immediately it was like full body. I was like, fuck. So if there's someone out there who can really kind of piece it together that well, that is awesome. Because as soon as kind of the AI thing starts kind of take hold a little more, I was immediately thinking like, I know that people come to me very much for kind of the education that, you know, like yourself, that idea of like, okay, if you can do this, then it's this solution. If it's this, then it's that. It's a very methodical approach. So I was like, there's got to be a way that we can leverage that. But how I tried to go about it failed fucking miserably. So that's cool if you've got someone to kind of figure that out for you. So we started off the workout with some single arm rows, keeping the arm nice and tight to the body to really fire up the lats. Using this Nautilus row replica type machine, it's got that trailing arm at the end of it. What that's going to do is actually going to work with your body's mechanics. So it's going to make sure that it stays parallel with your forearm, meaning that you are going to get a lot of challenge to the shoulder and subsequent back activation. We were training at Kelvin's gym, M41. If you're around Urmston, you should definitely check it out. Loads of incredible hand-selected kit. When I first got checked naturally, it was around like 14, so I don't know if naturally it tended to sit like a little bit. So I did find that even then, when it kind of came back to what it should be, I still just didn't mentally feel like quite as on my A game as usual. So
it just felt sick to hear, it started to feel normal.
That's true, but I found that whenever I was cruising, back when I used to like blast and cruise, I still felt better on my cruise than I did like with what would theoretically be
Yeah, but when you cruise, you've got to still at 25, 28, 30.
higher than where I was, yeah. So I just thought, you know what, fuck it. If I need to have another kid, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. So we were obviously on about testosterone replacement therapy and performance enhancing drug use. We tried to keep it as real as it gets. We are open and honest with the fact that we've taken stuff, what and in what amounts we have taken them. It's always just best to be totally transparent. The reason why my guys love working with me, even though, yep, in a way I probably have screwed up my hormones more or less for life to a degree by using stuff. I basically have the experience to say I've done everything. I've made all the mistakes so that I can guide my guys through avoiding the dumb things that I've done. I played the game naturally first. I competed naturally, built a very good physique naturally, and understanding exactly how my training and nutrition works is what allows me to stay with an elite level of physique even after coming off of stuff and bringing it down to a true physiological range. If you were on TikTok, you heard the entire discussion. But anyway, exercise number 2, some chest support dumbbell rows to bias the upper back a little bit more. A strange choice, can't admit, with all the lovely machines around, but this is a very solid exercise. Offers that same support and stability. I think the only thing that I don't like is that the dumbbells get very hard very quickly in that top portion of the rep. So probably got a little ambitious here, but still a great quality set, making sure to stay nice and locked in.
Fucking breathe through your mouth when you're eating. So as soon as I breathe through my nose, I was out of breath like fuck, eating my food.
Everyone was like, how much gear is this guy on?
Exactly. I'll tell them this cardio. I've been on the step and stayed for 20 minutes. I wasn't even breathing on the stepper because I could breathe through my mouth. You can't breathe through your mouth when you're
fucking eating, yeah.
You can tell Kelvin's really in the groove with this exercise. He's a lot more in the groove with his reps. I needed to keep mine a lot more slow and controlled, being a long time since I'd done that exercise. So I wanted to make sure that my form was on point, driving my elbows at exactly the right angle to target the right bits of the back. What you don't want is to be using more weight, flinging it super fast if you don't have the right level of control, because ultimately other muscles are therefore going to get that tension, be the limiting factor, and you're not going to be stimulating as effectively as possible. We then did one set with a few partials of some pullovers to fry the lats before then finishing them off with this wide grip pull down. I was following Kelvin's routine through this workout, and it was already a bit more volume than I would tend to do, so you can imagine the look of horror when I realized we still had 2 exercises left. We then moved on to some T-bar rows to just tie it all together. A little bit of a dead stop with these so that we could spare our lower back. We didn't want that to be the limiting factor, as we then had some interesting deadlift variations to follow this up. I promise I don't train like a complete wimp. Upon looking back, I wasn't swinging this as much as I thought, but some of these last grinders to really kind of yank off the floor, I thought that I was really giving it my all, which may not have been the case.
To do a standard deadlift. Because it is basically taking the hamstrings and the hips and the leg drive out of it and isolating the back.
Yeah.
So you can film this out.
Obviously, it is a slightly different skill to, you know, safely flex the spine like that. But from someone who's obviously been competing like 20 years, would you say that a big part of making it like this far into the game is kind of, you know, strengthening some of those weak links in the chain? Because things like that, or things like a behind the neck presses, things that people would say is like, oh, that's terrible. But in my point of view, that's the only way that you get confident at those movements.
Also, you reduce the load on an exercise that's going to be more risque,
yeah,
if you like. But training to full length range, so you'll see people say, I don't want to open my elbows out when I'm doing bench press. That's how you fucking work your chest. You're tucking them in to protect your chest, but therefore you're not working your chest. So drop the load and then place all the load on the chest. So that's where you want the load. You want to build the chest.
Yeah.
There's no point bench pressing more if you want to.
Half it's on the triceps. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah.
With this one, it's the same. I'm not going to be deadlifting. I mean, I've deadlifted 250 kilos, so this is going to be 100 kilos for a deadlift. But because I'm not touching the floor, I'm not locking out at the top, so there's no rest point.
Yeah, different.
So the pump kicks in. So the first 4, 5, 6 reps not too bad.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh fuck, this is heavy.
Burning, yeah.
And also, the flexion through the spine rather than keep it straight. So where all the other big muscles are taken over, you're actually isolating in a different, you're actually utilising the back in a different way.
Yeah.
So you're not going to go as heavy, because that'd be crazy, but it's working in a different way and putting different stress on it.
Yeah, I think to start with, it's not a movement that everyone would feel comfortable doing, but I think if you can do it safely, then it's actually a big flex. I mean, you being over 40 at this point, to be able to extend your spine against resistance is actually a good thing, and not snap your shit up.
So with these deadlifts, as you can see, we're actually going low enough to actually curve our lower back a little bit towards the bottom. The idea is they actually want to extend against the resistance to really train the spinal erectors. Something that can be perceived to be a little bit risky, but if you have the skill to do this, and you understand the intent that we're going for here, this is actually how you start to build some of the strength in that kind of range. So here I am actually fairly strong. I'm fairly strong at hinging and Romanian deadlifts, so keeping up with Kelv, busting the 50s out. Nice view of my hamstrings and adductors as well. But this is how that you ensure that you can pick things up off the floor, put the tension in the right places. You're not going to hurt your back in the real world if you can do this with a good amount of weight. You're not going to, snap something when playing with your kids. So in reality, there is actually a huge utility and functionality to training like this, and as Kelvin admitted, this is one of the things that's kept him nice and mobile and functional even as he has been competing for over 20 years.
Last time I got 685, I was fucked, don't get me wrong, but I beat everyone.
Well, that's the thing, like, people don't realize that, like, having a lot of muscle is actually, as long as it's not maybe like, Ronnie Coleman level, it is actually surprisingly functional to have a lot more muscle mass on you.
Muscle's powering.
Yeah.
The only thing is it doesn't require more blood and oxygen, so
Yeah.
you will fatigue quicker.
Yeah.
But I would say I did 20 minutes on the step the other day, at my heaviest weight, 119 kilos. I wasn't even breathing on the step. Did 20 minutes, level 10, and I got off it, and I was talking to that, I was having a conversation, so I'm calling that one fit.
Having finally finished off with back, we then moved on to a couple of bicep exercises to finish off. First was this hoist curl machine. Felt incredible as it drops off just a little bit as it leans you back towards the top, actually reduces the resistance a little bit that way. And we followed that up with a few sets on the Strive preacher curl. Didn't get any videos of that one, but if anyone's used the Strive, it's actually got a few different pegs that you can put the weight plates on. It allows you to challenge the muscle in different ranges throughout the movement. So set one, we went middle, then we added a little bit more resistance to the start of the curl where we are stronger, and that was a great way to really rinse the biceps for everything they were worth. So all in all, an incredible experience training with Kelvin again. Can't wait to give you guys some more cool insights and content with him.